You know, Patty, we
Yes,
have
sir.
been camping for almost 20 years.
I know, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And our camping style, I have come to the conclusion, has completely changed after our stay last week.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought what we do is we talk about this campground that I am super, super excited about.
We're in love.
Yes. And we're going to tell you all about it
Love
in this episode of Troubles with Delaney.
the podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And for those of you that don't know us, we have been RVing now for almost 20 years.
Yikes.
And we have had everything from a 13-foot teardrop all the way up to a 35-foot fifth wheel.
And don't forget a backpacking tent and a condo tent.
That's right. We've had tents along the way. What we never have had is a pop-up
Right.
or a motorhome.
Correct.
So, but we've had, this is the one we're currently in is number 12.
Yep.
It's a 33-foot fifth wheel.
Yep.
Brand new 2024
And I love
Alliance
it.
Avenue All Access Series
It's
29
gorgeous.
RL.
We love it.
We do love it, and it's going to be our home
Yep.
not only this summer, but very shortly it will be our home for a couple years.
Yep.
But we'll get into that in a whole nother episode.
Yep.
Because today we're going to talk about a campground that we had never stayed at before, and we are now in love with.
We love it.
But before we do that, Patty, we have to do another exciting round of This or That.
Of course. I'm ready.
You ready for
I
this
think
one?
so.
All right. So, Patty,
Yeah.
if you are given the choice
Okay.
of either going out to dinner and having steak
Okay.
or going out to dinner and having pasta,
Ooh.
which one would you choose?
I like both.
I know you do. That's why I thought I'd pose it.
I think I would choose pasta because here's my reasoning. You do steak so well that I am so spoiled when you grill a steak.
Right.
You know how I like it.
I do.
You do all your happiness with it, and they are so hard to beat that I really, really would go with pasta.
Okay. Just because you can get good steak at home.
I
is what
can.
you're saying.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
All right. There you go. I was just curious because I know you like both, and I thought, well, I do tend to always come up with these food challenges for
You
you on
do.
this or that.
Yeah, because I can think of, like one time I went to Ruth Chris. Well, even our anniversary was Ruth Chris.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I'd say Ruth Chris steaks. We've only ever ate twice at a Ruth Chris because
So
they're
it's
not
either going to
cheap.
be a Patrick steak or a Ruth Chris steak
Yeah.
is usually my two
You don't
options.
want to go to Ponderosa?
No, I don't.
Okay. There's not many Ponderosas left, so there's
I'm
pretty
pretty
good chance
lucky,
you won't
yeah.
have to. Yeah.
Whew, that's a relief.
I've had good steak in restaurants, but
Yeah, I think, though, I like it the way you do it.
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
He's our chef du jour.
Yeah. Well, I want to get right into today's
Let's
topic
get into it.
because I have a feeling this one could go on for a really long
I
time.
think so.
And we don't want to waste your guys' time, so
Yep.
we'll get right into this. So for the first time ever, we stayed at a brand new camp resort.
Yes. And
And-
it was a resort.
And it was a resort. And
Mhm.
so we spent 5 nights
Mhm.
at Camp Margaritaville in Pigeon Forge.
Yes.
And I will say, for those of you maybe not familiar with the Margaritaville branded campgrounds, there are now several, including the one we stayed at in Pigeon Forge, but
Right.
also Auburndale, Florida, which is south of Orlando.
Right. And then didn't you say there's one in Texas by Houston?
Yep, there's one over at Krystal Beach in Texas, which is near Houston. I believe there's one I know there's one in Georgia. There's one, I believe, in Louisiana. I saw on their website there's one coming soon, it said, to the Poconos up in New
Okay,
York. So
nice.
you can go to the Margaritaville website
Yeah.
website, and find all their locations. But we had heard about the Margaritaville campgrounds, and
It was on our bucket list.
yeah, we said, someday we're going to
Someday.
go. And, one of the things we had heard from people is they're a little pricey.
Yeah, we knew that. Yeah.
But we had heard positive things. I really
Right.
hadn't heard anything negative
No.
other than the price.
Right.
And so anyway, we checked in,
Yep.
and number one, I will say I did not think the price was that bad, especially for
All the amenities.
June.
Yeah.
in the Smoky Mountains.
Right.
They had a special when I went online to book it, where if you stayed 5 nights or more, you I think it was 20 or 25% off your total stay. So it brought the weekday nights down to $79.
Well, that's not bad.
I don't think that's bad at all. And the weekend, I can't remember the exact rate on the weekend. I do believe it jumped up to maybe like 109 or something like that.
Right.
But so price-wise, understand it's a resort. If you're looking for cheap camping,
this is not it.
Yeah, Margaritavilles are not it.
But if you want a place where you never have to leave, unless you really want to, this is it.
Yeah. So when we arrived, and for those of you that don't know, the location in Pigeon Forge is the former home of a Boyd's Bear store, I guess.
Yep.
Years ago, Boyd's Bear had some stores. I know there was one in Gettysburg that we visited.
Right.
And then they had built this one in Pigeon Forge, and it was always like a big barn.
Yeah, it looked like it had a big silo and a barn, and it had levels.
Yeah, and they built this up on like a hill there in Pigeon Forge.
Right before you go into the Smokies, right?
Yeah.
Toward Gatlinburg.
Towards Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And it ended up closing, and I think it sat empty for a couple years. And then whoever came along bought the property and decided we're going to put in a campground, and that the the barn was probably a little too big for your traditional camp store.
Yeah,
because it was a 4-story barn.
That'd be a big store.
So what they did was they put in a
lodge.
So it's Camp Margaritaville RV Resort and Lodge. So if you don't have an RV, you can still stay at this location in their hotel, in essence.
Right.
But the real focus there is not on the hotel. They
focus on the campground.
The campground. And so anyway, so we pull up. I booked this site. I call over to see if we can check in early. They're like, sure, come on over around 11:30 or 12.
We were there.
And so I went in, and super friendly. The lady working the check-in for the campground, welcomed me, and she says to me, boy, I don't know if the site you chose is going to be big enough. She said it's only 38 feet.
Right.
And I said, well, we only have a 33-foot RV. And so the first thing she did was she started looking for if there might be something else available.
Yeah.
And she did find one that was 40 feet. But I really wanted the site I had chosen, and we'll talk about that in a minute, why I wanted it. But she was just so nice. And in fact, the site she had found me that was 40 feet.
It was like the bigger one, wasn't it?
It was
a deluxe or something?
Well, it was a different category. It was a more expensive site. And I said to her, well, we only paid for a standard. And she said, oh, that's okay. I'm in charge. I can put you in that if you want.
There you go.
And she told me, though, I asked her, so what's the difference? She said, all of our sites here are basically the same. They do have a few, super sites.
Wider.
Really wide with
fancy fire pits.
Yeah. But most of the sites, what you're paying for is not anything different in terms of the site or the amenities. It's how close it is to the pool area.
Yes.
So the closer you get to the hotel and the pool area,
it's
the
more. Cost more.
Yeah. But here's the thing. We were in the cheapest site they had. And I didn't think the walk to the pool was bad at all.
No, I think it was not a hard walk at all.
No.
It was not very far.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, and then
not a big deal.
And I don't know if they do this all the time, but she gave us a bunch of coupons.
My goodness, so many coupons.
So we had a 20% off for their breakfast buffet because the hotel has a restaurant and they do a daily breakfast buffet.
Wasn't there an arcade card?
They gave us an arcade card that we never did use.
No.
But I don't know if it had $5 or $10 on it, so we could have went to the arcade and played some games.
Coffee house card?
50% off of a coffee beverage.
Yep.
And then also 20% off of apparel or merchandise.
Right.
Stuff.
Yep.
And so anyway, so we go to our site and we get all set up, and it was no problem because this site was nice and deep and flat. So I was able to hang the RV over the concrete.
Right.
The only thing she asked was that I make sure our landing gear was on the concrete, not on the grass.
And we like to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And so we had this super nice. So the site was all concrete in terms of not only could we park the RV on concrete, but we had it onto concrete.
You had a big area of concrete. You had a cool picnic table.
Yes.
You had room to park the truck.
And
a
fire pit.
And a nice
and
fire
the reason
pit.
I said I chose a site was on one side, which would have been our driver side, which is the non-patio side, there was nobody else. We were at the end of the row.
Yes.
And so it was all
Nice.
grass. It was all grass behind us, and
Mhm.
then it was like a hill that went up.
Right.
And then because it was almost like right on a corner, so we had a really
Almost like
huge
a
patio.
pie, yeah.
We had a really huge patio side. So lots of places for us to take Truman and Bess out, or just for us to hang out.
Nice grass,
Yep.
green grass. The pups just loved it. I think they wanted to lie down in it a few times. It was so soft, but yeah, it was beautiful.
Yep. And full hookups.
Yep.
All new.
Oh, nice.
And I guess the other thing was the concrete is a minor detail, but all the pads were stamped with like the
Yeah,
Margaritaville logo.
like a medallion, their logo. It was
Yeah.
really, really cool.
And so anyway, I thought, and now I will say this: not all sites in all campgrounds are created equal.
Right.
Even though every site in there looked really nice, and they're all new,
We
modern.
did a walk around a lot. We did a looking around a lot because you want to remember sites and for future. And some of them were tighter.
Yes,
They
there were
still had
definitely
grass,
some where
but they
you
were
didn't have.
closer.
Yeah, they were not as wide as ours.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody takes site 51 the next time
took
I
a
wanna go.
mental note, yeah.
51 is our site.
And what was cool too, honey, is remember throughout the campground they had pavilions with like tables and like
Yeah.
one had Jenga and some games in there for kids to do that were just kind of scattered around, or you could eat out there with your family or
Right.
friends or whatever. Yeah.
And playgrounds,
Yeah.
and one section had a gazebo,
Yeah.
if you remember. And so, yeah. Now, here's the thing. For starters, I want to tell you guys this before you go, because I didn't find this out till halfway through. They have their own app that you can download on your smartphone.
Uh-huh.
And number one, you can go in and see each day's activities, and you can favorite them. So if you want to be reminded,
It gives you a reminder.
like you want to go to juggling at 11 a.m. out on the lawn where they're
Mhm.
teaching you how to juggle,
Juggle.
you just heart it, and it will send you a notification.
Or if you want to make sure you're back at your campsite around 2:30, why would that be, honey?
Because during the season,
Uh-huh.
I don't think they do this in the off season,
yeah,
and they
so-
are open year round, I
Yeah.
believe.
Mhm.
But in the off season, they probably don't do this. But during the season,
Uh-huh.
at
What do they do?
2:30, they have a margarita cart that drives around the campground selling $5 margaritas.
So cool. I mean, they got a, what was it?
Inflatable pink flamingo
on
on top of the
top.
cart.
They're playing the song
Margaritaville.
Margaritaville from Jimmy Buffett. They've got
And
usually
then-
two options of margaritas, and then they even had kid popsicles.
Yeah, for the
where you
kids.
just cut the plastic up, they cut the top, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
How
and they're,
cool is
they're just
that?
driving around announcing $5 margaritas. It was like the adult version of the ice cream
I've
man.
never seen somebody, hint, hint, my friend here, looking out the
Yes.
window like a little kid waiting on. We're at the police, like, okay, it's 1 o'clock.
We gotta get back.
We got to start. I'm like,
I
it's
love
1
it.
o'clock. We're not that far. Well, we got to get back and be ready for the margarita cart. So.
I love the margarita cart. But that app was great because I didn't realize it the first few days, and then once I found it,
yeah,
I was able to go in and find out exactly what was going.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. They had lots of activities
if you wanted to do
if
stuff.
you wanted to do 'em.
Yep.
Okay, a dog park. Now this is where I'm gonna.
This was. I think they needed to do a little work.
They could do a little work on the dog park. They
Yeah.
have a beautiful sign for the dog
Oh, it's
park.
beautiful.
Bargaritaville.
Bargaritaville.
Yeah. But when we actually got to the dog park, it's just a big fenced-in grass area. But here's my real knock on it: it's single gated.
I think, you need, because these
It
two,
needs to be double
our
gated.
little guys sometimes get a little rambunctious when another dog comes into the park. And the poor other dog, you need a little time to get him in there, and there's only one gate. We needed a double gate.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had just come from Hilton Head National RV
It
Resort,
was-
who has a fabulous dog park.
Yeah.
Not only is it double gated, but they have two dog parks, one
Separated.
for small dogs, one for large dogs.
Yep.
Both of them have water for
features.
the dogs.
And a little exercise.
Yes.
Like
And
adventure
so
things they could
I give
do.
Margaritaville credit for having a fenced-in
Something.
grassy area.
Yep.
That's one area, though, that I would say they could do a little bit better on.
Right,
That's
'cause-
about the only thing
Yeah.
that I would knock them on.
Right, because, if you have a male dog, you need like a tree or something.
Yeah.
Or he likes a bush or a rock or something. And you need a place there was a place for humans to sit. But even, you just need double gate.
Yeah.
That'd make me feel better. Yeah.
So, pickleball courts.
Yes.
Okay,
People
they
were
had
on that
pickleball.
all the time.
cornhole.
Yep.
We actually went up and played cornhole
Yeah,
one
it was
night.
fun.
Yeah.
They have like what is it? Like it almost looks like miniature golf turf or something.
Yeah, it was all turf.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
real nice.
mhm.
And just lots of Adirondack chairs you could
Oh,
sit out there.
and
And by
tables
the
and
way,
chairs and umbrellas and
when
yeah.
you are up at the lodge area, it's Buffett music all day.
It's party.
Yes. And so it has a vibe. They have a camp store right in the hotel.
Yeah.
So if you
Cute.
need your RV supplies, things like
Or
that.
some souvenirs.
Souvenirs.
We even have doggy souvenirs.
Yep. They
Mhm.
also sold ice cream.
Yep.
And they had like a little coffee bar
Right.
there. So they had that. I mentioned earlier they have a restaurant.
Mhm.
So during the week they do a breakfast buffet.
We
I think
did
maybe
that.
on Saturday too. I don't know if they do it on Sunday because I know they
Mhm.
have brunch on the weekends.
We did the breakfast buffet
Yeah.
one day.
And
yeah.
it was honestly
It was
at
good.
$14.95, which was the regular price.
Mhm.
I think it was worth it.
Well, there's so
it-
many choices.
Right. It was your basic scrambled eggs,
They had bacon,
sausage, fried bologna.
potatoes. Then they had fresh fruit, and then you could have cereals and
Biscuits and gravy,
bagels
and
and
pancakes and French
muffins.
toast, and
yada yada yada. Oatmeal and cereals for kids, and yeah, all kinds of stuff. Coffee, juices, yeah.
yeah. And with our 20% off coupon, I mean, it was a steal
It was
for
like-
to get filled up one morning.
Yeah.
So, but we also ate there one night. Now we didn't eat inside
No.
because you can sit out at the pool
Which we
and get
did.
the full menu,
Yeah.
and we did that. We sat out at the pool area.
Yeah, I had a
dinner.
salad
Yeah.
with chicken.
And I had half a barbecue chicken.
Yeah,
And so they have a restaurant on site. They have multiple bars.
Yes, they do.
And then so lots of food and beverage options.
Right.
They have a pool,
The main pool.
Main
with
pool.
The slide.
hot tub.
It's a zero entry. There's a hot tub, and they have like a water feature for little ones. Looks like a palm tree with water spewing out the top on little kids that look tiny ones.
Yep. And several days we were there, they did like pool parties and had DJs
Yep.
up there.
All kinds of fun.
Just a complete vibe
It's a
of
fun party.
And when I say party, I'm not talking about like out of control party.
No.
I'm talking about tropics. You're with Jimmy
Yep.
in the Keys, that type
If you're a
of feeling.
parrot head, this is perfect.
Yep. Um,
And then the opposite side of the pool had the
Lazy River,
which we loved.
Yeah,
too.
we spent a lot of time at the Lazy River. It
that
was
thing
less
was
crowded
nice.
than the pool.
You could sit around it. They had umbrellas. They had Adirondack chairs. They had regular tubes that clear, or they had
Circular
these
ones,
circular
yeah.
ones, and they had the others that look like a seat,
And you
where
could
one
sit
side's
on 'em.
open and you can sit on it, and it has handles, and oh, it was so nice.
Yes, and they have a bar there
Yes.
at that
we
area.
partaked in that too.
And they do limited food service there. But
Yeah.
I will say, if you go there and you're at the Lazy River, I highly recommend getting those nachos.
Were a little munchy because we were there around lunchtime, and those nachos, and you could choose what kind of meat, and I think we put
We went
brisket.
Yeah.
It
And they were
was
$18, and trust me, we couldn't eat them all.
no.
We split an order, and there was leftovers.
So good.
Yeah.
So very good. Yeah.
And the land shark was good and
That
cold.
land shark's always good. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's from that standpoint. But we're not done.
No.
There's more. So down in the basement
What they call it?
of the lodge,
Fins? Something fins.
Fin City,
Fin
or Fin
City.
Center,
Yeah, like
something, I
Fin
don't know.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a huge arcade. If you have kids or you're a
Huge.
kid at heart,
Huge. They had like what indoor? It looked like a big chessboard. People were
Yep.
playing that. They had a huge foosball table. I wish we'd have had a lot of people
you
there.
needed 6 people.
6 people to play this
Thing was-
foosball. A pool table. They did like activities down there with kids. Like they had one
Yep.
day they had stamping and making tie-dye shirts and whatnot. There's a little like place to get souvenirs there.
Yep.
They had these awesome gaming chairs, and you could sign up. I guess rent the area to play.
Yeah, you had to pay to use it, but they had video games.
Video gaming, a little bar there.
Yep.
And then there was what, duck bowling?
They called it duck pin bowling.
Duck
It would
pin
look to
bowling.
me like
Miniature.
like a miniature bowling alley.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
And,
then
again,
they
you
had-
had to pay for that.
Right.
But
And then sometimes did they show movies down there?
yes, every day they would have a movie, and some days they had live music.
Mhm.
And like I said, and then right behind that which was like the lower level
Yeah.
near the lazy river. There was a big grass area. In the evenings, they do like a community bonfire,
Huge
with
bonfire,
roasting marshmallows.
which is near the lazy river.
And then they had activities out there throughout the day. Like the
yeah.
one day, the guy that was juggling.
Poor guy was by himself.
Yeah, nobody showed up for the
Nobody
juggling.
showed up for juggling.
Felt bad for him. But we
He
were in the lazy
was doing a
river.
good job.
And I wasn't getting out.
He was juggling those plates
Yeah,
with
he
that
did.
stick.
Yeah, he's spinning plates.
Oh my gosh, it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is that everything? I think. I mean, it was
There
just.
was so much. It was just awesome. It was a place like
we didn't want to
I
leave.
didn't want to leave.
No.
It was just so relaxing. So at night it got so quiet.
Yep.
Yeah, you can hear Dollywood from there.
Well, you could hear the train from Dollywood, and you could hear the
fireworks. No
but,
biggie.
But that was it. I mean,
no, nothing else after that.
And
People
it was quiet.
People
I mean,
were respectful of the quiet hours, and people were great. It was a good spot. And don't forget the coolest thing out front. I don't know if all of them do this. They had one of Jimmy's Airstreams.
Yes. The Airstream that sits in front, it said, was actually Jimmy's Airstream that he had used as a recording studio for one of his albums.
I think it was like Far Side of them something.
Far Side of the World?
World or something,
yeah, I
whatever
think so.
it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had actually, had a little, what do they call it? You scan it and you can
a QR code,
you
and
can
then
get the video of him singing.
In there.
You see him in that trailer
Airstream.
when they recorded the song. That's how they did it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So, overall, though, I'll tell you what.
It's an awesome place.
I mean, honestly, we will definitely go back. I don't know when, because for us, it's about a 10-hour actual drive time to get there.
You want to go back tomorrow?
I wish we could. I mean, fins up. I'm
Fins up. I'm in.
I mean, it was just a complete
and we're
island
parrot
vibes.
heads, so this
and
is
we
perfect.
are. We're huge Buffett fans.
Yes.
We have been since we were young.
We were lucky enough to
And-
see him in concert years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
what I
pleasure
really
to be
want to
there.
do is try another location to see if does Pigeon Forge just check all the boxes,
Now,
or do all the Margaritavilles have that same island vibe?
I was looking in RV Destinations magazine earlier,
Which just came today.
and there is a section in here about the Auburndale
Margaritaville?
Camp Margaritaville.
Which is in Florida. For those of you who are like, where is Auburndale? Think kind of down towards Lakeland, Florida, off of I-4. And if you're watching our video podcast, which you can find over on Travels with Delaney, the podcast YouTube channel, Patty's holding it up. So that's cool. I had not looked at this. It literally came in the mail today.
I was looking at it because I'm like, ooh, what's similar? What's different? Because I want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the layout, obviously, one of the things we really enjoyed at the Pigeon Forge was it's up on a hill. And depending on where your site is, you can have some really good mountain views.
Yeah, we had a beautiful view, and then when we walked
one
you
other
could see
section,
even a better view of the mountain. And I'm like, wouldn't this be cool in the fall with all the foliage, just be able to sit in the lazy river looking at the mountain in its colors? That would be awesome.
And see, Patty, we didn't do a very good job here. If you were thinking, you pulled out the RV Destinations magazine, which you should have told everybody was, if you want to find cool places like Margaritaville, all you have to do is subscribe to RV Destinations magazine.
Oopsie.
And we're going to leave a link down below in the show description. You will save 20% on any subscription you choose by using our link. And just so you know, we make no money off of it. There's no affiliate commission or anything like that. We're not being paid. We just happen to be friends with Randy and Callie Beheimer.
And their magazine is so I was looking through it. It's so beautiful. There's some places I'm like, I want to go there. That's another place I want to go.
We might not even be friends with them anymore if they sell the magazine to somebody else, because we love the magazine
I
that
love
much.
the magazine.
So, anyway,
it's awesome.
I want to make that disclosure. We're not being paid to say this. We
No.
just literally love that magazine.
And I just
it's
happened to be flipping through it.
Yeah, because I did not know that.
And I didn't. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I was like, where's she going with this? I'm thinking she's going to just do a promo, because we do like to share the word about the magazine with people, and we just do it to help out.
I'm one up on you.
Yeah, I guess. Nice job. But I had no idea that Camp Margaritaville Auburndale was in there. So. Well,
Nice.
I do know this. I was texting Randy when we were at Margaritaville, and he was almost jealous that we were there, because he said I think he told me they've been there twice. At Pigeon
they're going
Forge,
back, aren't
and they have a reservation coming up this fall.
And
there.
they love the lazy river too.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the margarita carts.
Yeah, because he said the last
Wasn't
time they
in
were there was
season.
in April, so
Yeah.
they evidently weren't doing the margarita cart yet. what would be awesome is to be able to go with Randy and Callie to a
That'd be
Margaritaville. I think
fun.
we would all have a great time. So,
And I forget one more thing I was thinking
Yeah.
of, hon. You could rent golf carts there. They even deliver them
You
to your
could.
site.
Yep.
Electric bikes, is that correct?
They did rent e-bikes if you wanted to rent one, though. You could rent them by the day or whatever.
And I think
they
would
would
deliver campfire to
I think
your
they would.
site
They
if
would
you
think.
wanted
Yeah,
campfire.
would.
Yeah.
Would. They won't deliver the fire, but they'll deliver the wood.
I meant the wood. Isn't that silly?
Yeah, that is silly, but that's okay. It's late. You know, like
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay
So,
awake.
yeah. No, I think when I
Yeah.
checked in, she said they could deliver firewood.
It's just a beautiful
to our
place. It was
site.
clean. We
Yeah.
love
The
cleanliness.
bathrooms, the
were-
shower houses.
the
We didn't even mention the
laundry.
laundry because
Everything was
I swear we
clean.
partake in every laundry room.
Well, you gotta do laundry.
Well, you do. You do.
Yeah.
Even when you're traveling on
Yeah.
vacation.
I mean, they just kept it up. They mowed and they were doing all the weed whipping and all that when we were there, and they just kept it all clean and yeah, it was
And
beautiful.
Honestly, never tried their Wi-Fi because we now have
No,
Starlink.
we just used our Starlink.
and
I don't know
I
about
just
it.
don't mess around anymore. I just pull out the old Starlink.
We don't mess around.
For what we pay for it, I want to get every megabyte.
Usage
Yeah,
that
so.
we can.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think I would ask you, would you go back? But, I mean,
this is. I think we already talked about this. I think this is my new, like when we want to go. Let's say
unwind.
This is the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, for those of you who have listened to our podcast or followed our YouTube channel for years, you know we always say Fort Wilderness.
Yep.
Disney's Fort Wilderness.
Hilton Head National.
Hilton Head National, and now
Margaritaville, Camp Margaritaville,
in Pigeon
Pigeon
Forge.
Yeah.
For our favorite RV resorts.
Yeah, they are true. All those are true resorts.
I'm just waiting for one of our friends, either here at Camp Happy Acres in Ankle or up at Forest Ridge in Ellsworth, Maine. Jeff and Lynn and Kevin and Andrew may be like, hey, how come we're not on the list? Because
there's two categories.
You're our favorite family small campground,
yeah.
so that's why.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference. I don't even know how many sites they had there at Camp Margaritaville. I mean, it's
don't
obviously
know.
not as big as Fort Wilderness.
Right.
I don't even think it's as big as Hilton Head National.
No, I think
At
it's
least
in the middle. Yeah.
But it was
beautiful.
It was awesome.
Beautiful
So.
spot.
All right.
Love it.
Well, a huge thank you to all of you for sitting here listening to us to geek out over Jimmy Buffett and
We are
Margaritaville.
parrot heads. We're geeking out. Yeah. I'm thinking of a song
but we
right now.
appreciate you tuning in every week, taking some time out of your day to listen to our podcast or watch us on YouTube.
Thank you so much.
And also a huge thank you to our friend and producer, Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Jim, thank you.
Yeah, I know.
We could not listen to this.
Yeah, we could not do this every week without Jim's help. He's the one for the audio side that goes in and makes it sound just pitch perfect.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's also the one that makes us look goofy with the bloopers at the end of the
Yeah.
audio version. So.
And all those silly things
Yep.
we do.
So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you to Jim. Thank you to all of you. And until next time, we'll see ya.
On down the road.
Bye.
Travels with the lady. We'll see you on down the road.